So this is the third update video for this beautiful Dreamtown 8000 piece by Educa, and it marks the 6th week that I am busy with this puzzle, and I would just love to share with you the progress I made this last 2 weeks. So just to update you guys, this is more or less where I left off on the end of the previous video and where I started for this video. So again, I just started to fill up as many pieces and gaps as I could. And for this section, it was mostly still castle pieces. And I managed to complete a whole lot of that missing sections in the castle, even though there is still a lot of gaps remaining. But they will fill up over time, and I'm very happy with what I can get. And again, every single one that I do get is a little victory that I do celebrate. Together with that, with filling up the gaps, I also started new islands. I tried to connect as many of the little islands as possible. And at this point, I knew I had to consider getting to the brown, or actually the red roofs. And I knew again that I will have to move up this puzzle, as the roofs won't fit in the little space that I've got left there. So I did start by getting those pieces out on the cardboards. Again, the cardboards are a huge lifesaver. They made it so much easier. So I tried to get as many of the reddish roof pieces together so that I can have them all, regardless of shape, have them all together to consider for what I need. And at this point, I just took one cardboard at a time, investigated the pieces on there, see if I can recognize anything, textures, colors that I'm still looking for. At this stage, I memorized quite a lot of the pieces that I am looking for. So I need to look out for one with a white point, and I need one to look out for one with a little purple corner. So I had an idea of what I was looking for, and with time, I do recognize some of them. And again, just fill up spaces, fill up gaps, and connect islands, create new islands. And I didn't mind the islands for this specific puzzle because I knew at some point I will have to connect the islands, and that will make up for a huge chunk of the puzzle. So this is my first check-in point for this video, and I'm very happy with the progress on especially the castle. Those gaps filled in very nicely. I connected all that water, and there's a bunch of new islands. There's a whole white section below the castle still remaining, but I am planning on filling that up very soon. A lot of new islands that formed. There's a big chunk that connected with new roofs there at the bottom. And this little island of blue will also connect very shortly with the rest of the puzzle. And another piece of roof there that is waiting to be connected. So at this point, very happy with the progress. As you can see, everything that remains now on the cardboards are very brown, very red, and very dark. So I believe I now entered the difficult section of this puzzle. Everything that was easy is done, and I'm now focusing on getting the cardboards empty to fill up again with pieces from the bowls so that I can get everything visible to me, which is to me personally the ultimate goal. I love having all the pieces visible to search for certain pieces. So yeah, again, one cardboard at a time, considering the pieces on there, see if I can find somewhere that they will fit, see if I can recognize something. And it felt very slow, the progress, but in the end I do realize I did make some good progress. As you can see here, I sorted the remaining pieces in the bowls into shapes so that it's easier as the cardboards empty up that I can fill them up again from that bowls that's already sorted into shape. Although it's a slow process, I just kept going and kept looking for pieces, and it kept filling up. And again, I am very happy with the progress. As slow as it is, there is progress. At the end of every day, it felt like I did next to nothing. But if I compare the first photo by the end of the week 4 and the last photo by the end of week 6, I can really see that I did make good progress. So at this point, I completely pushed up the puzzle so that I can complete the edge. And once the edge is complete, I know now exactly where I need what, space-wise. So I connected more of the islands, and you will see there is some floating islands. I try to keep those in more or less the area where they will go eventually, so it's easier to determine what needs to go around them. So for now it doesn't really make sense, but in the end it did help for me to have that floating islands more or less where they should go. As I grew them, I was able to add more contact clues. So here's my second check-in point, and you will see that bottom part of the castle grew somewhat, and still remaining pieces left every here and there, but I connected more of the islands, and this section here in the middle is almost connected throughout, and I'm very excited to do that. On the left hand side, that blue water eventually connected. I still need to connect that roof. And yeah, there is the edge. So again, up until here, I'm very happy with the progress. Slow, but sure. Just look at that. So I think it's more or less somewhere here, around here, where I was able to empty all the balls onto cardboards. So everything that is remaining to be assembled into the puzzle is now on cardboards, and that for me said, if I am looking for a certain piece, it has to be on some of the cardboards. If it is of a specific shape, it can, I think some of the shapes, the least was 2 cardboards, and the most is like the 2 innies and outies were on at least 6 cardboards, I think. So if it was one of the fewer shaped, one of the shapes that there's fewer of, I knew it can only be one from 2 cardboards, and that motivated me to look for that piece until I found it. It took a little bit longer, but it helped me fill up some gaps, and then I constantly rearranged the pieces on the cardboards, and I think that also takes a lot of time that could have been put towards completing the puzzle, but for me it helped that there is structure on the cardboards. Everything is in lines and everything is neat, and it helped me to just process all the details on the cardboards. So I spent a lot of time rearranging cardboards, but that helped me a lot to fill up specific spaces, and in the end, again, that meant there was, even though it's slow, there was progress. So this will be my last check-in for this video, and I am extremely happy. The castle's missing pieces got in mostly. There's a little section that I still missing 4 pieces. Otherwise the castle is more or less complete. That castle in the background is complete. There's another little island that I need to complete. Some more floating islands got added, and in general all the islands grew or got bigger, and I added a lot. There is some sections that got connected to the edge, and I still can't connect this middle section with either the top or the bottom. So there's 1 of 2 pieces I need to connect that, and I'm going to get to that. This one grew a little. I still am not able to connect that roof, but it grew, which is good. So all in all, 6 weeks in, this is where I am at, and I'm very happy. Just look at that. And especially if you compare the week 4 and week 6 photos. A lot of progress now. Okay, so officially all the pieces that's left is either on the table or on the cardboards here. And I haven't counted them, but I already emptied 3 cardboards for which I don't have any pieces, which is great. So I officially reached a point where I can work towards reducing the amount of cardboards that remain. And the more cardboards that get emptied up, it means there's fewer pieces. The fewer pieces there is to consider, I do believe it will be easier to get the remaining pieces spotted for the remaining gaps. So this can either take long or it will speed up towards the end. I am not sure. The goal I set for myself was 9 weeks after the initial 4 weeks on the first half of the puzzle. So let me know what you think. Do you think I can do it in 3 more weeks? 9 weeks in total, or do you think it will take a bit longer than that? So I just need to keep in mind that the Summer Puzzle Olympics is coming up and that will start in June. So I don't mind if I spend a couple of more weeks on this puzzle. If it takes longer than 9 weeks, it's absolutely perfect. I don't mind. I really enjoy the process. But I need to finish this by the first week in June, as I am going to participate in the Summer Puzzle Olympics and I need the space. So I can't work longer on this than about 6 more weeks. That's 2 more weeks in April and the May 4 weeks. So hopefully it won't take that long. I think I might be able to complete this before then, but my ultimate goal is the end of May so that I have my space available for the Summer Puzzle Olympics. So yeah, please let me know. Do you think I can do it? And I hope you enjoyed this update. There might be 1 or 2 more updates depending on how fast I am able to fill up the remaining gaps. But yeah, I really appreciate you watching. I appreciate your time. Take care and I'll see you in the next one.